Hi everybody, welcome back to Yoga with Carlyn. I'm Carlyn and today's yoga class is for the hips and the shoulders. We're going to take some time in class today to both open up, stretch, and strengthen these two parts of the body. We'll add in a little bit of everything else as well, but the main focus will be the hips and the shoulders. You won't need any props, and I will see you in a downward facing dog when you're ready. Starting in downward facing dog can be a little bit difficult, especially if the body is not quite open yet. So just take some time, pedal out the knees, find a little bit of movement in the body, shake the head yes and no. We're going to do some warming up here, so it's okay if the body is not fully open. We'll take time to get there. So even if your downward facing dog looks a little bit different than it typically does, maybe your heels usually touch the ground and they're not. That's okay. Just breathing here. Right away, we're going to start to open up the shoulders. So bring the feet just a couple inches closer than you normally would. Bend the knees a lot. Take the chest to the thighs. And just press down into the heels of the hands and let yourself melt towards your thighs. Feel the shoulders start to open. And then lift back up to your downward facing dog, a little bit of a shorter stance. And we'll do that again. Bend the knees, melt the chest to the thighs, almost like you're pressing the ground away from you with the heels of the hand. Coming back into your downward facing dog. Take that one more time. Beautiful. Come back to your down dog. Keep your feet same distance from your hands, but go ahead and walk them to the outside edges of the mat, keeping the right hand planted. Take the left hand and grab on to the right shin, calf, ankle, thigh, whatever works, and just twist underneath that right armpit. As you twist here, you'll start to feel a gentle opening in the right side of the leg all the way up to that right hip. Take one more breath here. And when you're ready, let's take it to the other side. The left hand plants, the right arm sweeps underneath the left. Grab onto that shin, ankle, calf, thigh, whatever you can access. And just take your body underneath your left armpit. Again, feeling this in the left side of the leg, all the way up to that left hip. As you pull the left hip back, the stretch intensifies even more. One more breath here. And then go ahead, bring the hands back down underneath the shoulders. Let's just drop the knees, bring the toes together, keep the knees wide, and find a quick downward child's pose. Downward child's pose, new name. Find a quick child's pose. Gentle opening of the hips here with these knees spread wide. And feel the seat moving towards the heels energetically, even if those two parts of the body are not making contact right now. Take your final breath here. And then when you're ready, we'll come up to a tabletop position, keeping these knees wide on the mat. So child's pose legs, but in a tabletop position. We're going to thread the needle, but we'll find a little bit of movement first. So the left hand plants down, reach the right arm up to the sky, twisting open. Maybe draw some big circles with that right arm, lubricating that shoulder joint. And after a few circles, just take them in the opposite direction. And then reach that right arm back up to the sky. Take an inhale. And on your exhale, thread the right arm underneath the left, but let it hover. Don't let it touch the ground. And then inhale, lift back up. Exhale, right arm underneath left. Let it hover. Last time, inhale, lift up. Exhale, right arm underneath left. Let it hover for just a second. And then this time, come down to the right shoulder, the right ear. Keeping the left hand where it is, pull the left hip back and the right hip forward. You'll feel this in the right shoulder, and if you want to intensify it, maybe you walk the left fingertips out in front of you. If this right here is still not enough, you can always take that left hand behind the back, finding a half bind, finding that right hip crease with the left fingertips and opening through that left shoulder. 2 breaths here. If you went somewhere else with the left hand, take it back underneath the left shoulder, press down into the left palm, and reach the right fingertips back up to the sky, opening up one more time. And then let's bring it down for the other side. So this time the right arm plants, the left arm reaches up, finding that open twist. And then draw those big circles, or like an oval with the left middle finger. And after a couple, you'll take those circles in the opposite direction. It's okay if you feel a couple snap, crackle, pops. It's normal as you lubricate this left shoulder joint. Inhale, lift back up. And on your exhale, take left, right, let it hover. Inhale, lift. 2 more times. Exhale, under and hover. Inhale, lift. Exhale, under and hover for just a second. And then bring that left shoulder, left ear down. Right hand can stay where it is for now. Pull the right hip back and the left hip forward. And if you're not feeling enough of a stretch here, maybe you walk the right fingertips out in front of you. Maybe you take that right hand behind the back, find the left hip crease, and open through that right shoulder. Last breath. Unwind the right arm. If you brought it somewhere else, take it back underneath the right shoulder, and then press into the right palm. Lift the left fingertips up to the sky, and then both hands come down to the ground, and we'll meet in our downward facing dog. And from your downward facing dog, take an inhale, lift the right leg up to the sky. Open up that right hip, stack it on top of the left, and start to draw some circles with the right knee, lubricating that right hip joint. And again, after 3 or 4 circles, you'll take them in the opposite direction. And eventually come back to your 3-legged dog and take the right foot down next to the left. Let's take that to the other side. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Open up that left hip, stacking it on top of the right and drawing some big circles with that left knee. Make sure you switch directions after a couple. When you're ready, inhale, come back to your three-legged dog, and exhale, step the left foot next to the right. Take your gaze forward and slowly roll yourself into a high plank. So take a moment to adjust in your high plank here. Shoulders right above the wrists, belly button pulls in and up, and let's take our feet out wider than we normally would. So we're going to find some shoulder strength here. We're also using our hips for stability. We're going to find shoulder taps. So keeping the hips as still as you can, you'll press the right hand down, take the left hand to the right shoulder, and then switch. Press the left hand down, take the right hand to the left shoulder. Keep going just like that, trying to keep the hips as still as you can, using your core, using the strength of the shoulders, the strength of the hips. We'll go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to your downward facing dog. Bring the feet back in. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. Again, deep breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. Bring the big toes to touch. Inhale, lift the right leg up to the sky. Stay here for a breath. Really press that left heel down as you lift the right heel up. Stretching that front of the right hip. One more inhale here. And on your exhale, curl the knee in towards the nose and step the right foot in between the hands, dropping the back knee and finding your low lunge. So stay low here. And then when you're ready, bring your hands to your hips. And first just focus on pulling that left knee and the right heel in towards one another as if they could meet at center, right about here. And you'll feel that really stretch the left hip flexor. Now you can stay in this hip flexor stretch, or you can take the hands, interlace them behind the head, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and as you sink into that right side lunge, you'll kind of just let the head be heavy in the hands as you take a mini back bend, opening through the shoulders and the upper back. Nice deep breaths here. Last one. When you're ready, just gently make your way back to your high plank. And in the spirit of working our shoulders, we'll take a challenge vinyasa, lowering down halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back to chaturanga. And then downward facing dog. One more big exhale. Bring the big toes to touch. Let's take it to the other side. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Stretching the front of the right leg, left leg. Reaching the right heel down and the left heel up. Last breath. One more inhale. And on your exhale, curl the knee in towards the nose and step the left foot in between the hands, dropping the back knee. Staying here for a moment, catching your breath, getting set up. And then bringing your hands to your hips and focusing on this hip flexor stretch here. Really pulling the left heel and the right knee in towards one another. Feeling a nice stretch in the front of the right hip.
And this time we'll take hands interlaced, interlacing the hands behind the back, squeezing the shoulder blades together, opening through the heart, opening the shoulders, and just sink. Still engaging the core here to help you find your stability. Deep breaths, doesn't have to be a big back bend. Last. And as you're ready, slowly start to unwind, planting the hands, meeting back in your downward facing dog. But first, maybe you find a challenge vinyasa, lowering down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Back to chaturanga. Downward facing dog. Nice heat building in the shoulders. Take 5 breaths in down dog, or come down to the knees and find a puppy pose. Knees stay underneath the hips. Walk the hands forward. Melt the chest towards the ground. Well-deserved shoulder opening. By the way, opening of the muscles in the body is always deserved. You don't have to earn it. Couple more breaths here. When you're ready, start to make your way back to downward facing dog. When you arrive in your downward facing dog, take an inhale, lift the right leg up to the sky. And on your exhale, tap the right knee to the left elbow. Hold it there for a second. And then spin onto the inside of the left foot and kick that right foot out for your fallen triangle pose. Reaching the left hand up to the sky, pressing the right hand down into the ground, press the ground away from you. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, take the left hand back down, take the right knee back into the left elbow, then take the right knee over to the right elbow and in towards the nose. Now step the right foot in between the hands and inhale, rise up, crescent lunge. Again, as you settle in here, feel that nice opening in the front of the left leg. Pull the right hip back, the left hip forward. Nice deep breaths. Last breath here, and then we'll find a twist. One more inhale. On your exhale, plant the left hand, reach the right arm up towards the sky, finding your twist. Squeezing inner thighs together, pulling right hip back. If you want, you can drop the back knee here. If you want, you can even kick that left foot in towards the seat and grab onto it with your right hand, finding a quad stretch. In this quad stretch, if you want, you can come onto the pinky edge side of the right foot, letting the right knee fall open towards the right edge of the mat and opening that right outer hip. When you're ready, come back through center, drop the left foot if you took it. Go ahead and tuck the left toes, lift the left knee off the ground again, and we'll come into our side plank from here. So you can stay on the left toes. You can always drop the front knee, the bottom knee that is, dropping the left knee, reaching the right arm up to the sky. Or if it's easier, you can stagger the feet instead of stacking them. Hold here, 5, 4, 3, 2, On one, come back to a high plank, and then lift that right foot up and step the right foot to the outside of the right hand in your lizard lunge. Breathe here, take some rocks, back and forth. If you want to get deeper here into the right hip or the left hip flexor, maybe this is enough. Maybe you drop that back knee, maybe you untuck the toes. Maybe if you have the space in the body, you come down to the forearms. Maybe you open up that right outer hip again, coming onto the pinky edge side of the right foot. Wherever you are, stay with your breath. If you advance to a more intense posture and you find that you lose your breath, have the integrity to take it back. Listen to the breath, listen to the body. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and drop the back knee, untuck the toes just as I am here. Come onto the palms if you were down on the forearms, and then take that right hand to the outside of the right foot and start to shimmy that right foot towards the left wrist, setting up for our pigeon pose. Maybe taking a moment to tuck the left toes, lifting the knee again, taking it back, and then bringing it back down. Find a pigeon pose that is comfortable for you. Take a couple breaths upright here. And let's see if we can use the strength of our hips to keep us here without our hands. So engage your core, press down into the hips. Maybe you just lift the fingertips. Maybe you lift the hands all the way up to the sky. See if you can hold for 3, for 2, on one, fold forward. Find your resting pigeon pose. Maybe the forehead comes down to the ground. Maybe you stack the fists and rest the forehead on the top fist. No rights, no wrongs. Just wherever it feels good to be there. Just a couple more breaths in your pigeon pose on this side. When you're ready, start to walk the hands in back through center, pressing into the palms. We're just going to lift up to our high plank here. So first lifting that left knee and then taking the right foot back to meet the left. And from here, we'll go ahead and roll all the way down to the belly, taking the left arm out long and taking that right foot behind the left, opening the left shoulder. You can keep that left ear down on the ground. You can lift it if that feels better. One more breath here. When you're ready, come back through center. rolling onto the belly, tucking the toes, taking the hands right underneath the shoulders, squeezing the elbows in, lift up just to a low plank, and then to a high plank. Lift the hips downward dog. Let's take that all on the other side. Inhale, lift the left leg up to the sky. Exhale, left knee taps the right elbow. Spin onto the inside of the right foot. Step that left foot outside the right hand and reach the right fingertips up to the sky. Fall in triangle for 5. Pressing ground away for 4. For 3. For 2. On 1, the right hand comes down. Left knee comes back to the right elbow. Then over to the left. Then in through center, knee to nose. And then step the left foot in between the hands, rising up for your crescent lunge. Sinking into that left hip. Right leg is nice and strong. Take a moment here, settle in. One more inhale, and then we're twisting. On your exhale, plant the right hand, lift the left fingertips up to the sky. Up, pulling left hip back, right hip forward, squeeze inner thighs together. And if you want that quad stretch, go ahead, drop the back knee. Maybe you take that right foot in towards the seat and grab onto it with the left hand. Again, you can always come to the pinky edge side of the left foot, just letting that left knee fall out to the side. Open through the outside of the left hip. Couple more breaths. When you're ready, if you took hold of that right foot, go ahead and let it go. Tuck the right toes, lift the right knee again. And we're transitioning to a side plank. So spin onto the pinky edge side of the right foot, stack or stagger the left foot, or remember you can drop the right knee, plant the left foot in your modified side plank. Wherever you are, really press the ground away from you. Find that strength in the right shoulder and in the obliques. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, come back to your high plank. From your high plank, lift the left leg up and step the left foot to the outside of that left hand, taking some rocks back and forth in your lizard lunge. When you're ready, if you'd like, you can come down to the right knee. You can untuck the right toes. Again, if there's space in the body, come down to the forearms. Maybe you came down to the forearms on the last side, but on this side that doesn't quite feel good. That's okay. Listen to your body. Be where you are today in this moment. If you haven't done so already, come back up to the palms of the hands, drop the right knee, take the left hand to the outside of the left foot and start to shimmy that left foot over towards the right wrist, setting up for your pigeon pose however it feels comfortable. But again, we're going to stay upright here for the first couple breaths. So find a comfortable upright position. By comfortable, I don't mean you can lounge here all day. Just comfortable, like you can breathe well. Let's find that strength in our hips. Really press down, lift the fingertips up. Maybe the fingertips go all the way up to the sky for 3, for 2. On 1, gently lower down. Find your pigeon pose, resting pigeon. Again, you can stack the fists. Take the forehead onto the top fist. Wherever you are, just breathe. And take your last few breaths on this side. When you're ready, walk the palms back underneath the shoulders. We're going to come back to that high plank, lifting the right knee, stepping the left foot back, lowering all the way down. I'm going to move over just a smidge, taking that right arm long out to the side and coming on to the right shoulder. Taking that left mic fix here. Taking that left foot behind the right leg. Just breathe. One more breath. When you're ready, make your way back onto the belly. And then we'll just press up onto the knees. Find an opening for the shoulders here. Interlace the hands together. Puff open the chest. And then let's roll the shoulders down. Interlace the hands, press the palms out in front of you. Tuck the chin to the chest. Make a little C curve with the spine. Opening the backs of the shoulders, the upper back. And then from here, come on to the seat. Take the legs out long in front of you. We're coming all the way onto our backs. Setting up for Supta Baddha Konasana, taking the soles of the feet to touch, letting the knees splay out wide. And one more time, let's use the strength of our hips here in this posture. Really press those feet down into the mat. Bring your knees in a little bit closer together so they're about halfway between like the bottom of the mat and touching, like a 45-degree angle. And as you press the feet down, see if you can lift the hips up. They won't go high like a typical bridge lift, and then bring them back down. Using the strength of the hips, lift up again, bring it back down. Let's go a couple more times. Lift and lower, lift, lower. 2 more, lift up, lower down. 1 more, lift up, hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1, lower down. Rest in your Supta Baddha Konasana. Maybe you take the fists underneath the thighs, create a little bit of support. We're taking a couple breaths in our Supta Baddha Konasana as our Shavasana today. So if you'd rather take a more traditional Shavasana and take the legs and arms out long, feel free to go there. If not, just be here, focusing on your breath, allowing it to be natural. Letting all the muscles and the bones in the body just sink down, especially the hips and the shoulders. When your body feels ready to come out of this, gently take the hands to the outsides of the thighs and just close the legs like a book. Hug the knees into the chest and rock yourself up to a seated position. And from this easy seated position, go ahead and take the hands behind you, the fingers face the seat. Squeeze the elbows in towards one another, bend the elbows and kind of lean back. Feel the shoulders stretch. A little bit of an awkward position, but feels really nice in the shoulders. One more breath here. And when you're ready, come back to your seated position. I'll face you. Thank you all for sharing your practice with me today. I hope your hips and your shoulders are feeling nice and good, nice and light. Namaste. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and turn on the notification button so you don't miss any free Yoga with Carlyn classes. Thanks, everyone. Have a beautiful week.